Self-hate is killing your gains, and the key to fitness is self-love. And I think there's a good amount to unpack there. You know, the title of this video is a bit tongue-in-cheek. You always see these fitness videos like, this exercise is actually killing your gains, or, not sleeping enough is killing your gains. And in my opinion, they're kind of ridiculous titles because I think they're meant to like fearmonger you. So this is meant to be a little tongue-in-cheek of what I actually think will kill your gains. And that really is getting into fitness because you hate yourself and you feel like getting into fitness will make you like yourself, as opposed to coming in to the gym from a place of self-love and self-improvement and a desire to just take care of yourself and even, self-expression. So, in this video, I want to talk about, two ways to approach the gym: one, self-hate, and one, self-love, and really make the case for why self-love is the best way to approach fitness. So, approach number one is self-hate as motivation. So I know self-hate's a strong word. You could even, if it feels too strong, you can even replace that word with insecurity. But just this feeling of like something is wrong with me, and, fundamentally, whether that be mentally, emotionally, and obviously physically, and going to the gym, getting into fitness is going to fix all of that. But it doesn't really work. There's a concept known as arrival fallacy, that if you're, unhappy and you set a goal in front of yourself and you think, I will be happy when I hit that goal, it is literally psychologically proven to be wrong, that you might get a bit of a dopamine boost, but you won't actually fix that core issue. And this is very true in fitness. I mean, this is seen in marketing, like, a lot of fitness marketing is like, oh, you must be so unhappy with yourself if you look like this, get in shape for that wedding coming up, or get in shape so you can finally, not be single, or get in shape so that your friends respect you, or your boss respects you, or all of these things. And the core message underneath all of that is that, you should not actually be happy with yourself, or maybe you're already not happy with yourself. And, this is a way to fix that. And, this kind of logic can get a little confusing because people are like, well, it's just really promoting getting better. But I think, this channel is all about getting better. But I think for it to actually be consistent, at some point, that level of self-hate for yourself will burn you out in a couple of ways. Two main ways. One, from an internal sense, if you don't like yourself, at a certain point, even if you hit your goals, it's not really going to fix that. That work kind of has to be done internally. And so that process of getting to the gym, it's not ever going to be an enjoyable one, because you're just trying to get there, because you're just saying like, okay, if I hit this, then I'll finally like myself. If I hit this, I'll finally like myself. And the whole process is going to have just this really dark energy associated with it that is not going to fuel your workouts long term. I feel like when I think of dark energy, a sense of shame or sense of hate, it can kind of spike a certain level of motivation, but then it's just kind of like, it's like a fume. It just slowly goes out, And I think eventually you're just going to be like, me not liking myself is not enough to motivate myself. And eventually you do burn out and you do just kind of give up. And that's why you hear a lot of times people are like, yeah, I was really motivated for 4 months and then I stopped. I was really motivated for 6 months and then I stopped. I was really motivated for a year and then I stopped. And, there could be a lot of reasons for that. But I do think one reason is like, they're motivated from like, oh man, I really want to like myself. And A, that motivation just runs out. Or B, a lot of times they actually hit their goal of like a body weight goal or a strength goal or whatever. And they're like, I actually don't feel that much better. And that does hurt motivation. So, for me, I was, a really skinny kid growing up. So I thought, if I put on more muscle, I'll, really like myself. And not that I hated myself or anything, but just, it was like I said, it was an insecurity. So, I thought, okay, putting on muscle will make me, feel more confident. And to a certain extent, sure, it creates a superficial, but, that I realized having, 20 pounds more muscle doesn't magically make me walk around with all this confidence. That I need to have that internal, because you can't just put that mask on and suddenly feel super confident. So I kind of learned that, I guess, the hard way. And, I can expand on that anecdote in the second part of this video. But I also think that sense of self-hate also makes the external journey really tough, because what I've seen is that when people really don't like themselves and they approach the gym as a way of like punishment, like, man, I don't like myself, I'm gonna go to the gym and just like beat myself up so I can kind of, in a weird twisted way, feel good about myself. And again, that can work for a while, but at a certain point you might pick up joint pain, you might pick up injuries, you might not even be like ironically optimizing your workouts, because if you're just like pushing yourself, your body might just be so focused on healing that it's actually not even building muscle as well as it could. And so your whole external process of getting your workouts done is not going to be enjoyable. You're also going to maybe pick exercise just because people say this is the best exercise, as opposed to actually thinking about what you might enjoy. And so, that's just not an enjoyable way of going about it. So both from an internal and an external, fueling your fitness journey with self-hate is going to kill your gains. You are going to burn out. Your process is going to be very dark. The process is also going to be filled with over-exercise, and that's not even going to help you for your goals in the long term. So it is not kind of the path forward. So that brings me to the second idea, the second approach, which is self-love as a motivator for fitness. And I know this sounds kind of cheesy and odd and like, what does this mean? And I think, again, you can replace self-love with a less strong term, like just self-care, and just, self-care or self-expression even. Just a sense that, hey, maybe I have some improvements I want to make. Maybe I want to build a bit more muscle. Maybe I want to improve my cardio. Maybe I want to build some strength. Maybe I just want to get out of the house more and just feel a little bit more active without any metric associated with it. And that's, you come at it of like, but there's nothing wrong with me. My humanity has value, so to speak. I have a community, a family, and friends, career. I have things that, just make me whole internally, and your personality, that those all things bring you value. And so you feel confident of who you are as a person. And that just takes some level of like self-acceptance. And then the things you want to improve on, you improve on it because you like yourself and you say, hey, yeah, I'm happy with myself, but I would like to become a better version of myself. So let me go to the gym to like take care of myself. The same way if, you have a child and you're like, this child's, my child's awesome, but, maybe I want my child to be a bit more active or study a bit harder or stuff like that. You're not going to punish them into the ground with that type of thinking. You're just going to try to say, hey, wouldn't you want them to kind of improve on the ways that they might want to? So again, going back to that thing of self-love, it's going to help you internally and externally. Internally, if you're going to the gym because you want to take care of yourself and try to be the best version of yourself, not because of a lack, but just because of like trying to thrive in this life, that is always going to kind of motivate you through life. You're always going to say, hey, yeah, I always do want to kind of take care of my body, take care of myself, love myself. So I'm going to keep going to the gym. And that's going to keep you motivated. It's going to be this kind of gentle motivation through the years, through the months, through the years, through the decades of just, yeah, I can just, keep going because I like myself. And then externally, when you go to the gym, you're going to pick exercises you actually enjoy, because you're going to think like, well, why would I do something I hate? Like I like myself. I deserve to have a good time with these workouts. You're going to not overpush yourself. You're going to have like moderate workouts that are sustainable, that kind of keep you going. And you're going to not approach the gym with a sense of shame of like, oh, I don't look like that person, or I'm not as strong as this. You're like, this is my journey. I'm just going to keep on getting better. And that self-love just, it creates that light energy that in contrast to the dark energy I talked about, creates that light energy of this gym just becomes this really wholesome, nice, wonderful experience for you. And that is just such a happier place to be. And again, people might think like, oh, that's odd. If you like yourself, you're not gonna want to improve. But I think the opposite is true. I think if you really like yourself and you care about yourself, you will naturally want to be the best version of yourself. Again, like if you have a loved one, because you love that person, you want them to be the best version of themselves. You don't want them to become complacent. You want to root for them. And so if you think about that for yourself, you just want to root for yourself. So you will actually be motivated with a sense of self-love. And I saw this for myself. Like, once I started saying like, hey, I'm confident in myself. I don't need the gym. I don't need to build X amount of muscle to feel good. I'm good with myself. That's actually when I started really enjoying the gym for the love of movement, being like, wow, I can move my body in all these different ways. I can build strength. I can try different things. It's kind of like a playground. And gym and fitness became this like huge passion of mine, regardless of, the number on the scale, and something that I'm like, oh, I don't even want this to be this like, young, early 20s hobby. I want to do this over 30 and over 40, over 50, and get my friends and family into it, get people into it. Fitness could not have become such a passion of mine if I didn't love myself. So yeah, that's kind of my, mindset shift for you for this week of try to approach the gym with a sense of self-love, then a sense of self-hate. Self-love, it will really keep the gains going, as they say. I think that it's kind of a funny term, so I'm again saying it a little bit tongue-in-cheek. But yeah, let me know if you found this video helpful. If you did, please consider subscribing. We just hit 750 subscribers, so thank you so much. It actually feels like 1K is kind of within reach. We're still a little bit away, but like, 3/4 of the way there. So that feels awesome. So thank you so much. I'm so excited to hit 1K subscribers one day, and it actually feels like we're getting there. So yeah, please consider subscribing, and yeah, let me know your thoughts on this. I would love to hear your thoughts on self-hate versus self-love, and just any other mindsets you have around the gym that you think are helpful and are not talked about enough. And yeah, if you want to see another video, you can watch one right here, and I will see you for the next one. Thank you.